So I just put the entire contents of the Prestone Flush Plus Cleaner into the funnel. You want to do that first because you want the cleaner in there before you put the water inside the cooling system. It wasn't too bad. It spits a little bit, but not too bad. The cool thing is the way that's designed right there, right here, it seals pretty good on the funnel. So when you're pouring, it doesn't really overflow too bad. So I kind of like that. But I still have 3/4 of a gallon to put in the system, and it was already spitting quite a bit with the flush here. So we'll see how well it goes. So I'm getting close to restarting the motor, but I just want to do a couple things to make sure, there's all the fluids in there. So I know that I put in 3/4 of a gallon, so there's definitely a lot of fluid back in the system. So I put the cap on. I'm just going to squeeze the hoses, bottom one too. Can you hear it? Okay, take it off. Oh, see how much it drained down? It's not floating. Okay. See if I can do this one-handed. Okay. So it was probably just a very small air bubble. Now you see I'm dripping it all over. You can't do that with with the antifreeze, so you're gonna have to be more careful when you actually get it all replenished with antifreeze. Okay, so I'm gonna call that okay because I know that there's quite a bit of fluid back in the system. So now we need to fill up the overflow reservoir, because it's going to want to suck water back in to fill that air pocket void. So you got to make sure you put water into the overflow reservoir. Let's see how full it is. Oh, it's almost full. You don't have to be exact because you just want to make sure there's water in there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start it and just keep an eye. I know that there's enough fluid in there to keep the engine cold. To keep it from overheating. But you want to feel this top hose to make sure it's getting warm. If you've been running your car for a couple minutes and this is not warm, that means that there's fluid not moving through it. Now you got to be careful of moving parts. You don't want to stick your hand in here. Of course this is an electric fan, but you know, probably when I actually get it started, I'm going to probably put my hand over here because there's less moving parts. So just keep that in mind when you're working near an engine. Okay, so I don't hear anything scary like a water pump that doesn't have water around it. If you hear any, like, I don't know, it's like a squealing, it's just not a good sound. If you hear anything like that, it's something on your water pump's not getting lubricated or wet. So if you hear anything like that, shut it down and check the level of your coolant. So now it's going to take your engine a lot longer to warm up after you do something like this. It always does. I don't know what it is. It's just when you put new stuff in your cooling system, it always seems to take longer to heat up. So that's very normal. So it's been running for about a minute. I think I'm going to go ahead and shut it down and just pull the cap off and check it again. So I feel pretty good about this because so much fluid went back in. Now keep in mind it might be under a little bit of pressure already. So you got to be careful even though it's been running for a minute. Yeah, I could hear a little bit of pressure. Okay, so I see foam in there from the actually the camera can kind of see it. That's probably the flush stuff. So it's a little low for me. I'm going to put some more fluid in. Okay, so I added probably about less than a cup of water and it foamed up right away. So that Prestone stuff is pretty it looks like a pretty good cleaner. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start it up again. And I'll just keep an eye on it. Make sure nothing bad happens. So I already feel some heat coming out of the motor, so I don't know if that's a good thing or not, because if you can see, it still says that it's cool. So anyway, it's good though that there's hot water getting into the heater core. I'm just surprised that it's heated up so quickly. But it's always, as far as I know, it's always a good sign when your heater core is pumping out hot air. If it's not, then you know that there's no coolant getting into the heater core. Okay, so the hose is not even warm yet, the upper hose. And it's still pretty soft, so that means there's not very much pressure in this system. And we're still getting heat out of the heater core. Oh, the light went out. The light did go out, so that's a good thing. So a Prestone recommends about 10 minutes to do this. Run it, so we'll see. I'm still not getting heat on this hose. It's still not very pressurized, and it's cold. Now back here, if I reach down here, it's warm. So here's the cylinder head right here. So this is the cover, and that's the cylinder head right there where the injectors are. So this hose is warm at the same height. Well, it's got this wrap on it. So you always want to make sure that your cylinder head has enough water, because if that is dry, that's going to cause some serious problems. So what I'm going to do is, since I'm still not getting heat right here, I'm going to let the engine suck the reservoir water out. Hopefully it'll do that. So I'm going to let it sit for a while, then come back out and see if this is dropped. So it's right about here. So if it drops way down, then I know that the water got sucked in through this hose and sucked into the system. So now if you don't have time to do that, then you're going to have to take the radiator cap off and put some more water in. The problem with that is now it's probably under a little bit of pressure, and then you're going to get you're going to be opening up a hot pressurized radiator cap. So if you have the time, you might want to just wait for the reservoir to drain, see if it does drain. But I was getting heat on the heater core, and I'm getting a little bit of heat on this upper hose coming out of the cylinder head, so that's a good thing. So it hasn't dropped at all. It's been about 45 minutes and it's still in the same spot. Okay, so it doesn't feel like it's pressurized. Yeah, it's pretty dry. It's pretty... There's no fluid in there. Don't stick your finger down there, it might get caught. So I need to put some more fluid in. Okay, so I just added almost 2 cups of water to bring the water level back up. I'm still not getting heat on the hose. The heater core is still giving out heat. There's the heater core hose right here, and this is hot. I mean, not boiling hot, but it's definitely getting hot.